No. All right, you guys know about Clavicular. He's this guy that recently was in a controversy because he ran over this stalker, but it turns out that stalker is like a TikToker or an influencer himself, and everybody thought he was dead, but I suppose he's not dead. I'm like not too sure what happened with that. Ever since that incident that happened over the holidays, I think it was on Christmas or the day after Christmas, he's everywhere. He's into interviews, his clips are going more viral, but he was always popular. And you know what's crazy is that every day I see some of these flesh streamers. Every single day I see new flesh streamers say some unhinged stuff or have some clips going viral for like weird shit they say, and I'm like, where do these people come from? Like, these people aren't real. I've never seen them before. There's no way. How could they become so popular? And none of us have probably ever heard of them unless they do something crazy like this. Anyways, Clavicular is this guy that's all about looks masking. Looks maxing. That's why there's been a big talk about looks maxing on Twitter lately. He's very, very into appearances. A lot of people have been calling him like American Psycho because he's like not displaying a lot of emotion. He's kind of stoic. I don't know how true that is. I guess we'll find out with this Turkey Tom video. But like he's injecting fillers on his girlfriend on stream, like live on stream. I'm surprised you can even do that without like a doctor license. But apparently he used to look very different before. So that's quite interesting. As a gym bro, looks maxing is super cringe. But like there's this trend where you kind of like bruise your cheeks, bone structure bones with a hammer. And apparently he promotes that. He promotes a bunch of like really unhealthy behavior, I believe. But Turkey Tom videos, I mean, they're often well researched. I'm curious to see what he's gonna pull up. Let's look at Clavicular.
Hugging, looks maxing. These are all terms we take for granted as part of popular internet Zoomer lexicon. But not too long ago, these terms were reserved for a few niche boards on websites that the general public had no knowledge of. And these ideas have only become more popular with the rise of a new figure, Clavicular, a 19-year-old streamer whose entire philosophy—
Wait, he's 19? Bro, he's 19. He looks way older. That's another thing I've noticed is that teens don't look like teens anymore. They look like just full-blown adults. But from the way that they groom themselves, the aesthetics that they use, like girls put a shit ton of makeup. They like cake it up. He looks sturdy, for real. Bro, it's like when we watched Blue Lock and there was that one guy that was supposed to be 19 and he looked 45. He looks like an anime 19.
rests on the idea that looks matter, and if you're not using his methods, you're gonna be left behind. Clav is definitely an interesting guy, and his popularity is more reflective of the culture that created him rather—
Oh, he's a TikTok star. Ah, okay, it all makes sense now.
—than his own personal successes or shortcomings. At the same time, he probably needs some serious help. And while on one hand I do feel bad for him, and on another he's pretty funny, how much sympathy can be extended to someone who tells his fans that steroids and meth are the way to ascend?
Oh yes, I read that. He also tells his fan he like takes meth every day to lose weight. I don't know if he like microdoses it or if this is a euphemism for like some kind of meds that he's taking, or if it's just straight meth, but that is crazy. That's crazy. I'm sure the video will dive more into it. That's crazy.
This is the story of Clav, the world's most popular looks maxer.
He did not
Clavicular
used to look like that.
was born in December of 2005 to a wealthy family in the northeastern United States. Instead of public school, he attended an all-boys private high school, which just goes to show that his upbringing already set him apart from the average person. But even among his peers, his interests would diverge completely from the typical student. While most kids were studying and playing Call of Duty, Clav was getting into looks maxing. As its name suggests, looks maxing is the idea of improving your looks.
No way.
The origins of this term are somewhat difficult to place, but today the term is most commonly attributed to looksmax.org. Clav began browsing the site while in high school.
That's what he used to look like. Steroids make you age quicker. Oh, okay, well that makes sense why he looks like older, I guess.
Supposedly coming to a personal epiphany. Looks matter above all else. If you don't have friends, it's because you're not good looking. Want to succeed in relationships? You need to be good looking. You want a dream job? Well, you also need to be good looking for that.
God.
Some basic methods for looks maxing are pretty typical. Go to the gym, eat a balanced diet, get some sunlight so you don't look like you just rolled out of a coffin. But these are all things that people have been doing anyway. Your dad probably told you to go to the gym instead of playing Halo all night. Or maybe that was just me. But some looks maxers are in favor of using more drastic methods. Clav claims that he was just 14 years old when he ordered testosterone off the internet for the first time. Obviously, testosterone is a naturally occurring hormone in all of us, but Clav was taking it to accelerate his progress in the gym. Or, as he puts it, I started roids about 2 weeks after I started lifting. Why? Because natty gains are slow and gay.
What's up? I just want to give a comprehensive overview of SARMs, or selective androgen receptor modules, what I think about them, my experience with them, and if you should take them. Now, SARMs are not as researched as anabolic steroids, so we don't currently know the long-term side effects, so that risk is already present.
To make things simple, SARMs are essentially gourmet
SARMs?
steroids. They're marketed as having less side effects than the stuff bodybuilders used to put up their butts, but at the same time, they do suppress natural testosterone production, which can have some pretty noticeable side effects on your body. If you've ever seen a male bodybuilder develop fleshy man boobs, it's because they took steroids for some period of time.
Fleshy man boobs. What the? Saggy boobs? You get saggy boobs from taking roids?
Up their hormones. But most bodybuilders are taking these performance enhancers after puberty has ended.
Yes.
Clav was starting them before he was even halfway through his natural development as a man.
Oh my
Based on
God.
his video, he's well aware of the risks, but it's a trade-off he was comfortable with because he claims to have gained 55 pounds of muscle in 12 weeks. It's also worth noting that this video is partially his own personal experiences, but it's also a promotion of these substances to anyone who stumbled across it. He recommends what to take if you're fat and want to lose weight, what to take if you're skinny and want to gain muscle, and how to do it most effectively.
Now, there's a bit of an increased libido, like you might catch yourself, going on Tinder at 12 a.m. There's been times when I was on SARMs where I'd be on Tinder at 12 p.m., swiping on these ugly ass, let's not get into that, but
These videos are from 2022 and were seemingly recorded on the same day. During the rest of that year and 2023, there doesn't seem to be any significant online activity from him, but that doesn't mean he was leaving internet life behind. You've probably heard at least one term like mogging, mewing, beta, alpha, and sigma male.
How do you do mewing? I've heard about that, but I don't know what it's supposed to do. I've heard these terms too. I've heard all these terms before. I just don't know how to do the mewing.
Red, blue, and black pills, Virgin, Stacy, and Chad, among many others.
Yeah, I still don't get it.
Probably don't.
Apparently, you're supposed to mew when you take good photos, but I don't know how to take good photos.
No, is that, like pretty much everything online nowadays, these terms originated in mostly right-wing forums and image boards from over a decade ago. Before Looksmax was popular, it had 3 spiritual predecessors. PUAHate.com.
Oh, mewing is when you raise up your hand like a paw and go, nya. All right, I'll take this for my next family photo. Nya. I know, Mew is a Pokemon. Does that count? Maybe you're supposed to shout Mew whenever somebody snaps a photo of you.
An anti-pickup artist forum, which mass shooter Elliot Rodger was active in.
Oh,
Sluthate.com,
yes!
which was later renamed Red Pill Talk, and was once directly addressed by the inventor of mewing himself, Dr. Mike Mew.
The first response came from Incel Executioner. I do love some of the names you've got here.
And lookism.net.
Bro, the names!
The latest and least relevant out of all of these. Many similar sites went the way of the dodo as their users found a more reliable place with faster servers that could host their discussions. Reddit. But in 2017, social media companies led a massive crackdown on anything that was deemed online extremism. Among the many casualties was the shutdown of the subreddit r/incels. On one hand, you had people saying that these communities were dangerous.
Wait, it's gone from Reddit? I thought it was there. How does Sean had Sorcerer videos then?
and needed to be purged from the web. But the opposing argument, apart from being in favor of freedom of speech generally, also had a foreboding warning. The idea that banning these communities from the general internet would cause a pressure cooker effect, where the people using them would just gather on more extreme platforms.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Indeed, they did. The shutdown of r/incels instantly led to the creation of
needs.net.
4 different websites. Incels.is, which is a general forum for incels. Neats.net, created for people who are not in employment, education, or training. Sanctioned Death, a site that allegedly provides instructions on how to,
Oh no.
And finally, looksmax.org. It's during 2024 that most of Clav's posts on this forum take place. One of the earliest posts I found is him replying to someone named Big Black Oily Booty, who claimed to be 15 years old. Clav replied to him saying, "Log out of this site and play with your friends. Don't ruin your mental development with autism." Unfortunately, this is advice that he himself did not take. 1 month or so after his 18th birthday, he made a post saying he had already gone on 4 steroid cycles, with doses as high as 550 milligrams of testosterone weekly. For reference, the testosterone they give middle-aged men to get their T levels healthy tops out at 200. In the same post, he also notes that taking substances in the past had seriously affected his liver health, but this didn't seem to be a major concern for him. By age 16, he was spending
Wait. At 16, you've already seriously affected your liver health? Jesus.
$100 per steroid cycle. But somewhat ironically, his drug use ranked pretty low in terms of bizarre methods he was using to supposedly improve his looks. While looksmaxers believe that your body is an important part of improving your looks, equally important is your face. Having a strong jawline, high cheekbones, and hunter eyes are heralded as the pinnacles of looksmaxing.
Everyone talks about getting hunter eyes, and everyone talks...
What the fuck is a hunter eyes?
About a positive canthal tilt, but no one tells the truth. Here's the full guide on how to actually get hunter eyes.
According to Clav, one of the methods he used was called thumb pulling, which entailed pulling the roof of his mouth outwards to widen his jaw. He also chewed gum, which supposedly helped his jawline as well.
Wait, is that true? Is that true? I gotta buy gum. My friend, what does she do so you don't get a double chin, and apparently it works, is you can buy these mouth tapes, and she's been trying to convince me to buy them. She's a friend I went on vacation with. She buys this mouth tape. There's a little hole for you to breathe through it, but it keeps your mouth shut while you sleep, so you don't open your mouth and become like a mouth breather when you sleep. And apparently it makes your your chin skin tighter. It's just so fucking funny. And she sleeps with she sleeps with this whole setup. It's hilarious. She has like a full-on face mask, for the skin. She's got this cap for her hair, and then she's got the mouth tape. I'm like, damn, that's really sexy. Oh shit, it keeps your mouth shut. I think that's why your friend wants you to get it, Rima. Darn it, do I yap too much? Yeah, they need those apex predator eyes. Chewing gum is very good for getting teeth. Well, I already grind my teeth while I sleep, so I don't think chewing gum will really help more. I don't need to chew more. I already do that. I've even cracked some teeth because I've grinded it so much, apparently. That's what my dentist tells me.
Unconventional, but the strangest method is bone smashing. The idea that by lightly hitting your face with a hammer or other object, you can create microfractures that, when healed, supposedly enlarge or strengthen the bones underneath.
I know it hurts, but that means it's working. That's the only indication. You have to push past the pain. Look at me.
While he acknowledges that the effects of bone smashing are most likely not permanent, he still claims that it swells up his face and makes him look more defined. Although I'm not sure I see much of a difference in this before and after, other than lighting. Now,
I don't see it. And also, like, that's temporary, no? What's the point of that? There is some legitimacy to that. Look at how Muff Briefer jaws are deteriorated. I swear to God, fantastic. And then she made me meet another one of her friend who also swore that it worked. And they really wanted me to try it. But I'm afraid. I'm like, what if I stop breathing at that? I'm too scared for that. I can't do it. I'm too scared.
One question you're probably asking after seeing all of this is why? Clav was already a reasonably attractive person before any of this, and it was all due to genetics. Were the steroids, strange techniques, and thousands of dollars spent really worth it? I would argue no, especially since two major things he was seemingly ignoring were his mental well-being and his general social skills. In one post, he states that he dreads going to get haircuts because, as he puts it, I'd rather look homeless than have to talk to someone for 30 minutes straight.
You don't need to talk.
I want to rope Max. He even went as far as making an entire thread about his crippling social anxiety. I dread talking to people in real life, even if it's for 30 seconds. I'd do anything to avoid those awkward, meaningless exchanges. Here's how I say 50 words or less per day. I wake up 30 minutes earlier than I have to, so I don't have to see my parents in the morning. I get up at 6 a.m. for school, even though I don't start for like 2 hours after that. I just sit in my car and wait for it to start. Don't walk into class first or last, both of which draw attention, which I don't want. I just walk in the middle of the pack so no one notices.
In the middle of the pack?
Room. Sitting in the back may cause the teacher to cold call you to try to catch you not paying attention. Sitting in the middle has allowed me to never get called on for a question the entire year. Keep eye contact with the teacher and divert your attention whenever she looks at you to another person. Also, never use your phone when you're
stare down the teacher.
You're not supposed to. She will go out of her way to embarrass you. Don't follow anyone on Instagram. This will make it awkward to walk by them. Am I supposed to greet this person now? I don't want to talk to you.
Wait,
don't try to
true.
make small talk. Then
that's a
it
good
is custom
point.
to greet people the next day. Just ignore everyone.
Wait, but do people follow each other on Instagram if they go to college together? It's like, you're in the class together. Why do you also need to be added on socials?
Never participate in class discussions.
Start counting your words. You shouldn't be saying more.
I was the only one talking in class. Like, I would always raise my hands to answer the teacher. I wanted to be the smartass.
More than 50 to 100 words per day.
Shut up,
I've gone
Spirit.
entire days without speaking before. This should be your goal. When walking into a room, don't make eye contact with.
Dude, that sounds like torture for a VTuber. Go on an entire day without speaking? I couldn't do it. I couldn't go 30 seconds without speaking, probably.
Anyone.
If I need to, just give them a nod and walk the other way. During lunch, I always sit in the library and fast, so that I don't have to go through the shame of eating lunch alone. This will cause social stigma. Don't be this kid. Just go somewhere else. When I get home, I try to go straight to my room without seeing my parents. I always greet my dog though, because I love her. This is the only female I will ever feel a connection to. I care greatly for my dog because she gets so happy when I come home from school. When I go to have my pre-workout meal, I eat it at an obscure time to avoid overlapping dinner with the rest of my family who are always home. At the gym, I always wear a hoodie and sweatpants, dark colors to be unapproachable. This is ideal. Never wear deodorant to the gym.
What?
No one asks you to work in, ever, if you smell really bad. Only do this at the gym, not anywhere else because it draws attention. When I get home, I go straight to my room to come on looksmax.org or incels.is for the rest of the night. Sometimes I watch a movie. I recommend you try to go an entire day doing your normal regime without talking.
He's literally this meme.
Whenever I talk, I give away my blue pill and reveal my mental issues. I used to have a therapist, but stopped going because of how dreadful it is. They constantly try to blue pill you and warp your sense of reality. On one hand, I think some of this post is exaggerated to get attention.
I feel like it's exaggerated. There's no way he actually, like, he's trying to be cool and edgy, which is, I mean, when you're a teen, you try like very hard to find a personality and a group that you belong to that's a little out of the ordinary, because now everybody wants to be different. Nobody wants to be a sheeple, part of the sheeple.
From other people on the forum. One user would even reply simply stating, "This is what people on this website do," and then they complain they get no attention from women. At the same time, social anxiety might be something that affects him. In one post, he claims that in real life he's generally perceived as a pretty normal guy. He says he has no problem speaking to girls or giving class presentations. But whenever he posts on the forum, people immediately sense his social awkwardness. It almost seems like he cares more about users on this website liking him than people in his real life. On that same note, one strange pattern—
You don't say. I feel like that sounds like a lot of us, like a lot of people online would do.
I notice with his posts are the complete contradictions. For example, he ends this one post with this sentence: "You guys who bang and jerk off multiple times a week disgust me." Okay, fair enough, I guess. In the same post, he says that he pumps and dumps girls bi-weekly, which I assume means he was having casual hookups with women every other week. But in another post just 2 days after, he says, "I wind up gooning once every couple of days." Obviously, these posts are in complete conflict with each other. On one hand, he hates people who have sex and goon. On the other, he also does both of these things. Clav was trying his best to make it out of the hood at this point in his life. While he was attending high school and college, his academic pursuits seemed far less interesting to him than what was happening on—
Wait, but they didn't tell us how to get the hunter eyes, and we skipped a step in the tutorial there. I'm still stuck on that. How do I get the hunter eyes? Because right now I just got the droopy eyes.
line, which—
Look at my model. Her eyes are very, very droopy. Do you think that'll help me pick up women, chat?
To be honest, is one thing I definitely relate to him on. He had already started a TikTok account to show his transformations to the world and generate a little bit of conversation online about it. But he was still trying to create some—
I mean, to be fair, my eyes will be good at staring down the teacher, that's for sure. The teacher cannot look away from these purple orbs. Hunt squirrels in your backyard for 2 hours a day to achieve hunter eyes.
Separation between his real life and what was happening online. At one point, he shared his list of things to never talk about with normies. This includes seed oils and food dyes, asking for food to be cooked in grass-fed butter, JFK assassination, tap water filled with estrogen, COVID vaccines, Michelle Obama's gender, Volkswagen Tiguan, Hollywood pedophiles, women's right to vote, how epic 05 Tacomas are, saying the phrase based and red-pilled, Holocaust death count, crime statistics, homosexuals, Kanye West, weightlifting and macros, car modding, the word kek, race relations, and finally, Queen Cleopatra's race. Now, you may have some questions about many of these things, but if you're wondering about the Volkswagen Tiguan specifically, he says, "I took a true Stacy on a date and ranted about how much I hate the Volkswagen Tiguan, which apparently dried her pussy out. Don't recommend talking about that." But—
What? Well, so I learned what a Stacy is yesterday, and apparently that's a mean girl. I don't know why they picked Stacy as a name for it. Maybe it's because of that song, Stacy's Mom Has Got It Going On. I don't remember what the name of that song is. I just know these were the lyrics.
as time passed, the line between his online activity and his normal life began to blur. In one post, he talks about how some girl he was talking to looked up his TikTok handle and from there found his account on Looksmax, along with the post where he talked about his dick size. On the forum, Clav's struggles with online dating are pretty well documented. He can be seen asking for help on what kind of pictures to put on his profile to get better matches, while also complaining about how incapable he is of holding any kind of conversation with the women he does end up matching with. This would be a persistent issue for him, to the point where he made a YouTube video about it.
My biggest point of contention recently has been online dating. I don't know where I'm going wrong, which is why it's so frustrating. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. And there's just no real way to be logical. And when you're texting these girls, there's no feedback system. They'll just stop texting you out of nowhere. Like, you'll just be texting a girl, having a normal conversation, just no reply. Casper the Ghost. At that point, it's not like, okay, well, this is what it's not like a game where you could go and do some like game film after the fact and say, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that, maybe I pushed it over the line. Just be a perfectly normal conversation. Well, I could be, what did I do? How about that? How about you do me the courtesy of, after all these conversations and text messages that I don't even want to, you think I want to talk about your hobbies? Bitch, I want to get in your pants, goddammit. And I want to convince you that I'm not trying to you, which is why I'm having the conversation.
And to be honest, I think some of this experience is probably relatable to a lot of guys. What hopefully isn't relatable is that in some of his other posts, his conclusion was basically to give up on dating altogether. This really comes to a head with one thread simply titled, "Masturbating Mogs Sex with Girls." I'd rather goon 24/7 than have to cope and jester on dating apps or cold approach a dumb girl. Conversing with low IQ primitive women is insanely difficult for me, me, an
Damn.
autist, and I can't fake the interaction for over 5 minutes. Pussy doesn't feel as good as my hand death gripping my cock on my triple monitor setup. Girls give you AIDS and take your money.
We were making fun of that yesterday with Kanata. You know, her grip strength is like 60 kilograms or something. And that's like higher than the top 10% of males from like 25 to 30. That collab was really funny.
Plus, when I jerk off, I can sit on my hand till it's numb and pretend a blonde Stacy is jerking me. How poetic.
God, I'm gooning.
It's probably worth noting here that taking steroids can also screw up your sex drive, with some drugs causing it to go through the roof, while others will cause it to plummet to the point where erections are basically impossible. By this point, it's clear that his looks maxing had very little to do with being successful with women, and instead, it had warped into some strange mixture of vanity and personal obsession, and his methods would once again become increasingly bizarre.
I guess it's some kind of way to take control over your life, over your body. It's very extreme. Whatever happened to just living an active lifestyle? Going to what I like, and I think I've mentioned that before, I like hobby maxing. I figured if you like going to the gym, that's totally fine. I figured out that I don't like going to the gym. I would always like subscribe, get a gym subscription, never go, only go a couple of times. It never really stuck with me. And I just realized I'm the kind of person that likes learning new things. So instead, what I've decided to do is to sign up for activities that teach, that are active, like that teach me how to do new things. Like I kind of want to try fencing now. My problem is that I keep picking activities that have no use in day-to-day life. One day I'll pick something useful. But then, you know, when you do that, you can meet other people with your hobbies. First of all, you can make new friends, be a little social, and you can learn something new, a new skill that you feel like you can improve in. And on top of that, you do exercise and you don't feel it. It's not just a checklist. It's not just a core. You're like excited to go.
He began taking an interest in plastic surgery. Some posts detail him dropping some money on small things like cyst removals, while others had him asking other forum users how he could perform surgery on himself. And depending on what you qualify as plastic surgery, he's actually done it on himself multiple times. While I can't show it on YouTube, there's multiple videos of him injecting himself with something called lemon bottle, which is a controversial substance that supposedly dissolves fat in your body. In time, this became a regular part of his regimen, along with another method, using PDO threads. From what I can tell, PDO threads are basically the temporary tattoo equivalent of facelifts. Small, dissolvable strings that go under your skin and stimulate collagen production while making your face look tighter. I can't speak as to how risky or effective they are, but I also don't think it's good to do it as much as Clav does.
We're probably gonna do 4 more to get maximum hunter eyes.
And these methods also don't just stop at improving his face card. He claims to have injected lemon bottle into the base of his shaft, as well as sticking PDO threads into it. I did 8 threads in total today. I only went about a 1/4 inch in to mog the BBCs on the forum. I don't think anyone has ever written something like that before in all of human history, so I guess I have to give him points for being original. Even other people on the site told him this was a horrible idea, as basically
What the fuck is wrong with you? Also, lol, at that PFP, it looks like the memes, guys, of the Giga chats. Like, it's almost comical.
every reply is calling him stupid or mourning the loss of his penile
What the
function.
fuck is wrong with you?
Since we're on the topic, he also does dick ups, which are exactly what they sound like. You awaken the ancient one, and you flex it up as hard as possible for 4 sets of 12. And to progress the exercise, you can add a hand towel on top of it. According to Clav, he was up to 4 hand towels and had gained 1/2 inch of girth. Of course, the looks maxing journey never ends, and even this stuff is really just the tip of the iceberg. Clav made several posts about wanting to get some more serious plastic surgeries. He explored getting an ollerplasty, which which alters the appearance of your nostrils.
Wait, what's an oloplasty? Oh, it's like a smaller...
A rhinoplasty, which changes the bridge of your nose, and of course, Botox insertions. As for Botox, he didn't want to get it done by a doctor. Instead, he was interested in doing it himself, asking members of the forum where he could get it online. But eventually, he went and had it done by
That's
a
not
professional,
safe.
which is why his face now has kind of a stiff, emotionless appearance. It's at this point that we begin to see the line being crossed, as Clav goes from exclusively affected...
Oh my god, it's true. The upper... Guys, look at the upper... his face does not move. Only his mouth moves. Only his mouth is moving.
himself with his antics to potentially affecting other people in a variety of
Oh, his eyebrows moved just a little bit just now.
ways. One of his biggest threads from this era features him taking pride in banging a girl who is in a relationship. What's funnier, or more strange about it, depending on how you look at it, is that he recorded audio of her crying about it afterwards to own her. Besides this, he frequently expressed his pride about purposely tricking people on TikTok into doing fake looks maxing techniques. This would be taken to the next level when, after enrolling in college, Clav was outright planning to start doing Botox injections for other students to make a quick buck. Funnily enough, before he expressed his intention to do this, he was concerned about being kicked out if the college ever found his social media accounts, only to turn around and make plans to run a plastic surgery operation out of his dorm. He also made some other thread announcing that he won't be paying taxes. I guess that one is kind of based, I can't lie. Whether true or not, it seems like his concern about being kicked out of college is performative. If anything, it seemed he was looking forward to it, as it would give him an excuse to completely give up on trying to live a normal life so that he can go all in on being an online personality, as he was already trying to do at this point through his TikTok and YouTube. Clav found himself not being invited out by anyone, and even when he did get with a woman, he had to be on multiple drugs to be able to perform due to his severe erectile dysfunction, because of course he had ED. He was also posting TikToks during this time period with captions like, 99% of people are utterly repulsive to even look at. They should be grateful when I'm in their presence. I'll make a brief detour here to cover one of the stranger oddities in Clav's story. I lean toward it not being true, but given that he later walked back and edited the thread to erase it, I honestly can't be sure. Fortunately for us, the original thread was maintained via a quote in one of the replies, and although the overall details aren't really important, the story basically goes that a girl he liked started dating a Chad. So his response was to wait for her outside her house and literally flash her naked in a trench coat. The girl was startled and dropped her phone as she ran away, which Clav proceeded to pick up, post a picture of his balls to her Snapchat, and then Venmo himself $250. Again, this is what Clav is claiming in the post. It could easily be a tall tale.
I don't believe this. It ain't true.
But in any case, that's simultaneously hilarious and horrifying. At this point, Clav had already soured so much on the idea of college that he began to make threads recommending that instead of spending $250,000 on education, it's better to take that money and spend it all on plastic surgeries to be an influencer, which is basically a projection of his own aspirations.
This is our next generation. Ah! This is our future, guys. Everybody wants to be an influencer. I know how contradictory it is that I am one, and I think it's cringe that other people want to be. But I'm telling you, not everybody's meant to be that. I'm telling you right now.
As he was already saving for a
Yeah, influencer's the new Hollywood actor. I wish people wanted to become Hollywood actors again. That required talent and craft, and a lot of dedication too. Some influencers have talents and craft too. Not me, but others. And certainly not all of them.
$25,000 surgery anyway. Another traumatic event that may have contributed to his hatred for education is the piss
Mog incident.
What?
I'll let him tell it in his own words. I went to the bathroom to pee before lunch. I didn't really have to go. I just wanted to do it proactively so I wouldn't have to go later at a less optimal time. I'm extremely piss shy. I hate the idea of peeing next to someone at a urinal. It feels so embarrassing, and the pee never comes out.
But then why are you doing all these injections in your penis for if it's not to show it off? And to like mug other guys' peepees. He gets pee performance anxiety.
Anyone else have this? So I always go to the stall to pee. This time it's me in this BBC. He walks into the stall next to me. I start my pee.
Dude, you can tell he checks out all the other guys' peepees because he's got to compare himself and he's kind of insecure about it. Nobody likes a meat gazer, Rima. Dude, he's definitely a meat gazer.
stream, and it's kinda quiet and weak. I can tell the BBC is laughing at my subhuman stream. He whips it out and produces the most girthful and powerful stream I've ever experienced. Mogs me to Gandhi with his beautiful...
Maybe he just really drank a lot of coffee. Maybe he had 2 Starbucks before this.
luscious stream. I truly want to end it. Indeed, that is a fate worse than death. Clav was clearly becoming more serious about his looks maxing efforts now, as he started taking more drugs, including a daily dose of erectile dysfunction pills, and looking into preemptively taking osteoporosis meds to try to grow his bones. At the same time, his online activity and his real life once again began to mix together. He was keeping lidocaine, a local anesthetic, in his bedroom so that he could numb himself while performing his procedures. His mom found it and was not very pleased. She stole the package of lidocaine, and I'm losing my mind right now. I spent $40 and she took it because it's dangerous. I tried to lie, and she went on a blue pill rant about how I'm not a doctor. I'm genuinely seething and raging like you wouldn't believe right now. Now I have to find a way to buy it without them knowing. As his parents started to get wise to his schemes, he got a job as a bouncer so that he could make his own money, and then made a plan to order steroids without anyone, not even his parents, finding out. With this newfound ability to blast away without a care in the world, it's at this point that he actually came to terms with how far he had taken looks maxing. Was all of this really worth it? The hundreds of posts to strangers online, the constant worrying about people in real life finding out about his strange habits, his parents' disappointment in his behavior. He decided it was time to just give it all up, to walk away. And that's the end of the video.
Except it's not.
Just kidding. He started taking Tren.
He did the Rima thing, the Rima, the YouTuber thing, where it's like, and that's where you think the story should end. Except there's more.
One of the most infamous anabolic steroids due to how absolutely insane its effects are. He even started promoting it on the forum. When someone claiming to be 14 years old using the site asked what drugs they should use, Clavicular gave him a detailed list of what he thinks he should take, with this supposed 14-year-old simply replying, "Thank you." Obviously, anyone can just lie about their age on any website, so it's impossible to know if this was truly a kid or not, but Clav himself had now gone from someone who was socially awkward and wanted to improve his looks in early high school to a legal adult who was promoting harmful steroid use to children. Keep in mind, during this time period, Clav was downright bragging that he didn't even lift. He just took steroids and then got 5 times the results of, quote, natural subhuman dogs.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
His disdain for gym bros is so strong that he scoffed at how they pose in the gym's mirror. Gym bros are retarded. I just flex in a handicapped bathroom, if anything.
I just flex in a handicapped bathroom. Going to the gym isn't just about gains, though. It's about the body releasing energy, and it's about, you know, discipline, feeling better about yourself because you've accomplished something over and over again. And every time you do, and you perform this action, then you kind of like pat yourself on the back. It boosts your confidence in yourself. It proves to yourself that you can stick to a routine. Nobody wants to go to the gym. Nobody. They go anyway. And once they're there, they kind of have fun.
His ability to freewheel his steroid cycle and also still attending classes created a bit of a golden age in terms of his posts, and there are a lot of funny threads from this period. For example, there's one where he recommends self-induced laryngitis as a means to achieve a mogger voice, as well as his brave declaration that asking people for pictures of their penis is not gay as long as it's to check for aesthetics. As far as his own...
I think this answers our previous questions.
He provided updated measurements, claiming that his routines had produced an increase of 0.75 inches. Although I do wonder if he's still getting piss-mogged in the bathroom. There's also one instance of him asking some guy what his mom's poop smelled like, which I'm not really sure about the motivation behind. I guess not every post can be a gem, which includes his response to a thread asking looks maxing users what they think about predator catchers on YouTube, with Clav himself replying, "Awful, bro. It's literal entrapment to ask incels to fuck, even if they are underage. They never got that treatment, so it's unexpected to them. He felt so strongly about this topic that he even went as far as to make an entire thread about it. Although it is worth noting that in the thread, he does say he thinks texting minors inappropriately is wrong. Regardless of whatever was happening on the forum, as long as that was the only place he was posting, Clav knew that his reach would be limited. So, as terms like mogging and mewing became more popular parts of the modern internet's vocabulary, he began exploring new avenues to become a bona fide.
Why can't we just do the Japanese aesthetics trends instead? When I went to Japan, like all the guys kind of had a little bit of an elevated look, you know. You felt like you had to dress up a little better, because if you're not put together, then you look out of place. Like you need some accessories, and I never wear accessories, or I don't know, you just need to do a little effort. But they don't do all that. They don't do all that. They like, you know, style their hair, have a good drip, and that's it. Have a nice smile. That's all you need, really. Why do you need to inject your penis? Are you planning to do porn? Like, if you're not planning to do that, then just leave your genitals alone. Oi, you. Yeah, you. Hi. If you're not subscribed to my second channel, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So take a moment, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell on. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now let's get back into the video.
Internet celebrity. In June 2024, we have one of the first instances of Clav going viral online with this picture, which was reposted to Reddit and then Twitter after he had first posted it to the Looksmax forum. Now, if you've been on 4chan or other sites for a long time, you might be thinking to yourself that you've seen this way before June 2024. That's because Clav's picture is most likely a rehash of this old meme from the 4chan Fit board, which was also reposted a ton over the years. But Clav's version would see a much more widespread appeal, getting nearly 12 million views on.
Some of those guys have like 100K in plastic surgery, or like that Roland, like that host club guy. Yeah, but he looks so bad. Like the plastic surgery makes him look worse.
And bringing him a lot closer to his goal of becoming an online personality. Besides that, he was also getting some interesting results in terms of his looks maxing. Despite having to take 3 different meds to treat his erectile dysfunction and use a penis pump, he claims he slept with nearly 100 women. Unfortunately, this came with the side effect of being seen as someone who will say anything and do anything in order to have sex with as many women as possible. After a few months, it was increasingly hard to continue picking up girls from his school. Naturally, this led him to go back to doing what he does best, bragging and arguing with random people on the forum to prove that he's an ascended Chad. And although I thankfully haven't stumbled across it, he claims
he's an ascended Chad.
He's posted pictures of himself having sex on the forum. Now I think is as good a time as any to talk about what it means to ascend. There's an idea within looks maxing that at some point you have basically achieved your ultimate goal of being at the highest possible level of physical attractiveness, at which point you can mog or look better than anyone around you.
I don't really give a shit about getting girls. I just want to mog. Like mog. Do you guys mogging? It means basically like looking better than someone. Like so you want to mog like people. Like dude, like
it's so empty, bro. Just become a VTuber. Nobody cares about what you look like. Problem solved.
Because at the end of the day, like with girls, you could just have game status. It's just like everyone could do it at the end of the day. But to actually mog, like you gotta be either genetically blessed or really work for it.
I like that he's saying that to the girl that's, you know, chewing with her mouth open, that probably doesn't give a shit about what she looks like. She's got her bra popping out. Like, it doesn't give a fuck.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
You may have noticed that despite having entered college, there's basically no information on what he was actually trying to get a degree in. That's because it probably didn't matter to him at all.
Yeah.
The most I was able to find in direct relation to him going to college was when he made a thread saying you could get college loans and then use them to get plastic surgery. Although this is just one of many threads he's made about getting loans for plastic surgery. Finally, after months of doing nothing but having fun, his mom once again found his roid stash. But this time, he managed to convince her to let him keep it with the argument that he's an adult and paid for all of it himself. However, it's really important to say that simply calling it a roid stash is not really correct. While there were plenty of roids in there, Clav points out that there was 1 kilogram of pregab. What he's referring to is the medication pregabalin, which is used to treat epilepsy and anxiety, which he had been taking in order to chemically make himself low inhib. So he was basically taking it to feel less self-conscious and high anxiety. From the first day he went to college, he was dosing himself with pregabalin and baclofen.
Wait, what
now,
the fuck?
Unlike pregab, which has more psychological effects, baclofen is a straight-up muscle relaxant that, while not a benzo, has similar withdrawal results because of how strong it can be. His reason for taking these is so that he can...
Yeah, but wait, isn't this all of this stuff? It must be over the counter if there's an addiction. If there's an addiction risk. So he's getting a doctor to subscribe these, or is he buying this from the black markets?
Cold approach girls constantly, as he claims he's unable to do so otherwise. Interestingly, he eventually evolved his stack to also include beer. From now on, I will drink a beer of some kind every 90 minutes. I haven't decided which one I'll drink, but more than likely an IPA since it's high calories. The ethanol will intoxicate me to make me low inhib and happy. The intoxication will be subtle, so it's good to do at work and you can still be giga productive. I'll just sprinkle 1 milligram of aromacin into each beer to counter the estrogen, the only bad side effect of beer maxing. Number 1 coping / bulking / low inhib strat. It didn't take long for him to announce in a thread that he had grown to basically do nothing all day but drink and try to get with women, all while asking the forum for more ideas of drugs he could take, with his own suggestions being meth or nicotine. We're gonna come back to the meth thing later, but to the surprise of no one, his first criminal charges came soon after he began more conventional drug use. In August 2024, he was charged with misdemeanor assault and battery on a 56-year-old woman, as well as felony assault and battery on a 63-year-old man. Kiwi Farms user Colonel Sugar Lemons.
Why is he beating up some old people?
Was the one who dumped all the information related to this case. The story goes that around 11 p.m., an altercation broke out over 2 members of a large wedding party who were allegedly pulling on bras hanging from the ceiling in the bar area. Clav approached them, told them to stop, and they initiated a fight, leading to an all-out brawl. So far, not really anything unreasonable from Clav, but it appears that during the chaos, he was throwing punches at someone's mom, the 56-year-old woman listed in the charges. Now, I am going to say here that he most likely didn't do it on purpose, especially since these charges were dropped. However, I also think it's likely that his employer wasn't aware that one of his bouncers was regularly drunk and drugged up to the gills while on the shift. If any legal situation like this happens, and for whatever reason, Clav gets tested for drugs, he is an automatic liability and is a lot more likely to be considered culpable. But regardless, he got away with being an alcoholic, pregabalin, and baclofen fiend. Ironically enough, what he didn't get away with was the steroids. After getting his mom to stop giving him grief over his looks maxing, his activity on the forum would finally catch up to him when another user sent his post history to his school.
I was kicked out of uni for essentially roid maxing and, looks maxing. Whatever the term you want to use is. Unfortunately, someone decided to archive all of my posts and apparently find out where I went to university and send them all to the public safety at my university, detailing all my alleged activities, which prompted them, the university, to do a search of my room and uncover certain looks maxing peptides and, things like hormones and, TRT and whatnot. In this gestured clown world of America, that's illegal. Testosterone is illegal, guys. You're not actually allowed to do it without a extremely gestured prescription that I can't afford. I don't have health insurance, so I was using underground labs to source testosterone.
Oh, so he got it from underground labs, whatever that means. That's what I'm saying, that people literally just stream their crimes or post about it. They don't care. They don't care.
I'm sorry, but I can't afford to go through some of these online clinics or an endocrinologist. It's, you know what I mean? I'm a broke
crime maxing
and I live at home, with my grandma. So it's to go ahead and go through the legal route and spend all this extra money rather than just source it on my own just seemed incredibly gestured to me, and that's why I went ahead and made the decision.
On one hand, I honestly do feel bad for Clav. It's not a good thing to maliciously contact the college with the intent of harming him in some way. That kind of behavior never comes from a good place. With that being said, he really did everything in his power to allow this to happen. From making almost no effort to separate his personal life from his looks-maxing endeavors, to outright bragging about his very questionable activity on campus, which included him saying he was going to do DIY Botox injections on other students, among many other things. Even if the only thing that got him in trouble was the testosterone he had, he claims he doesn't get it legally because he can't afford health insurance. But at the same time, he has a dozen threads about how much money he's planning to dump into plastic surgeries. So I'm not sure how sincere that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the importance of looks maxing comes
I think it feels like he really wanted to be accepted by all of these anonymous forum users, and we see that behavior happen over and over again. You can see that on 4chan. People do that even though it's anonymous, which is odd, right? We see that on a bunch of different platforms. It's because, dudes, it's because our ancestors used to hunt together, eat together, and like dance around a bonfire. And we're depressed because we spend our days looking at a square, an illuminated square in our hands. And we're still seeking that community, but we just don't make efforts to join it. And sometimes, like, he has a family too that eats together, but he doesn't even want to talk to them. People often seek what they don't have, and they don't care about the connections that they do have.
Pretty clearly, as just moments after remarking about how mean-spirited people online can be, he's describing being kicked out as a blessing in disguise.
Now I am able to fully dedicate my time to looks maxing, so I think this is going to wind up being a blessing in the end.
The end of college would also mark the end of any normalcy for Clav.
Yeah, a rectangle, really. And that's why I use blue light glasses while I doom scroll browsing online. I'm protecting my eyes every day. Use code CLOP for 10% off and link in my description below.
He was now fully committed to becoming a popular looks maxing influencer.
Yeah, I mean, if you what I said only applies if you do have a nice family or a regular one. If you don't, then you gotta seek out other individuals. Hopefully real ones, not like online ones. That's helpful.
His next video is titled, I Started Tren at 18, and So Should You, which should really give you an idea of what kind of approach he was now embracing. Within just a few months of being kicked out, you can clearly see how much further he was going into the abyss. Getting an $86 penis pump, getting on multiple weight loss drugs like Mounjaro and DNP, and on top of that, partying. During these parties, he would do coke, along with drinking alcohol and taking baclofen. Not to mention the other stuff he was already taking, such as steroids, his dick pills, etc. Obviously, even by normal partying standards, this is a pretty impressive cocktail. And these habits...
He's on a ton of shit, man. His liver must be suffering, screaming, help me, somebody else, help me, let end.
Would eventually lead him to crash his car. Body cam footage of the aftermath has been released, and we can see that he basically drove into a ditch on a narrow road. But that's much less informative than what Clav himself said in a post about the incident. I was nodding off on the way home and crashed into a fence. It'll cost me at least $2 to $3 grand. Surgery delayed once again. The cops didn't care that I was intoxicated. I'm boys with them. We work out at the gym. It's interesting that his greatest concern was not that he could have hurt someone or hurt himself. His main priority was that the crash was delaying one of his many planned surgeries. The first reply this thread got is someone pointing out that he could have taken the life of an innocent person while driving in that state, which honestly restored my faith in this website. Overall. For any reasonable person, this would be a wake-up call to, not be strung out on everything all the time. Maybe a lifestyle change. But for
how do all these body cam footage from like cops get leaked, by the way? Isn't that supposed to be private information, or is he the one posting them?
Clav, it was just another obstacle to his ascension. Now that he was getting more attention online through TikTok and these minor scandals, Clav decided it was time to cash in a bit.
If you're tired of being invisible to women, tired of getting rejected, and tired of watching other guys who won the genetic lottery take what...
Oh god, his tan combined with the bisexual lighting in his room that has like zero personality, it's so fucking weird. The setup is weird. I feel like I'm watching a vidIQ video on how to like up your YouTube analytics or something.
Yours, then pay attention, because what I'm about to show you will completely transform your face and physique in ways that you didn't even think were possible. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You have been lied to. They told you just be confident, just be yourself, looks don't matter. But you and I both know that's complete bullshit.
Yeah, he opened a coaching page where he charges people $49 every month to have access to his methods. I'm not sure how much money this page was making when it started, but the landing page claims to have 1,500 members, which could add up to quite a bit of money. Now, I usually try not to hate on someone's bag too much. After all, I am a believer in good old American capitalism, but given the advice that we've seen him give out to people so far, my hopes for this school are pretty low. But with the money coming in, he posted on LooksMax.
Bro, Turkey Tom should have paid for a month of it and checked it out. Like when Moist Critical did a red pill boot camp.
Saying he filled out a loan application for surgery, specifically maxilla surgery. This is surgery that will radically restructure his face and is another step in his quest to ascend. His posts around this time also got even more questionable. In one post, he writes about how he makes sure that he explodes inside of the better looking girls he's been with to pass on his genes. Hopefully we don't get a low tier god situation here.
Oh my god.
I've abandoned my child!
In another post that's definitely trolling, he criticizes people who wash their ass, calling it gay. As 2025 approached, he found himself wondering why all the women left around him were extremely promiscuous, and then revealed that he is now in $50,000 worth of medical debt, which he has no intention of paying off. Could he be lying about some of these details? Sure, but the overall point still stands. The shark has been jumped, and he is past the point of no return here. His delusions go so far that he went to an orthodontist and began, quote, dropping nuclear black pills on him, all to walk out with $7,500 worth of Invisalign to fix his teeth because apparently that's something he's very insecure about. Another thing he's never managed to figure out with his drug stacks is his facial hair, which eventually led him to draw a mustache on with an eyebrow pencil because, according to him, it makes him look like a dad. I really hope stuff like this in particular is trolling due to how downright stupid this looks.
Yes!
Like clockwork, Clav has some brief moments where he attempts to produce something resembling self-awareness and makes the odd thread about how you shouldn't be doing drugs besides steroids and alcohol. But in no time flat, he's back to making brag threads about how he had fun at the club on 400 milligrams of pre-gab and 65 of baclofen.
Okay, I don't even know what these things are again. These are the meds that he started taking earlier, like the muscle relaxants that we don't like, that he gets from underground labs.
Keep in mind, he had been living with his grandma at this point, I assume the same one from the picture, and he spent his free time making threads on LooksMaxing about how he had taken the sociopath pill, and he was gonna fool every normie into thinking he was a normal guy from his Instagram pictures. If you're not 14 and you're still LARPing about how you're like Dexter Morgan or Patrick Bateman, it is verifiably over for you. But
alright, I'm gonna admit something. I've never watched Dexter. I just like the meme with the black guy in the car, the detective guy. I love that reaction.
the thing about being a deceptive and manipulative person is that over time, people do catch on to you, and you need to move elsewhere to keep running your racket. Naturally, by April, Clav did just that, and moved to LA, where he said it was infinitely easier to fuck. Probably true, to be honest. In his yearning to try and emulate the behavior of the popular normies, he doubled down on his TikToks and his streams on Twitch. But this move was showing some signs of taking its toll on him, as he once again spoke about trying to be sober from alcohol. But as we're going to get into soon, this sobriety is not really something he takes seriously. He literally just means not drinking alcohol. Other stuff is still on the table. Just a few months into 2025, something pretty strange popped up in his public records. This was brought forward by Kiwi Farms user Colonel Sugar Lemons, once again, who provided paperwork showing that in February 2025, Clavicular had been served with a restraining order that ensured he wouldn't abuse, contact, or come within 100 yards of an anonymous woman. And he also had to surrender any firearms he had to the police.
Wow,
now, I wasn't able to find any more
dark.
third-party information on this, but once someone else made a video about him that included the information about his restraining order, he responded by saying this: "The restraining order thing was even more outrageous. I made a joke on Discord that got me in actual trouble. If you think we have free speech in America, think again. I'm so done with people coming in and trying to subvert looks-maxing into something it was never supposed to be." This is very similar to the things he was saying when he got kicked out of college. The idea that he was punished for just looks maxing, which is pretty insincere, leading me to believe that he may not be telling the full story here either. However, I will say that the person who made that video on him with the information about the restraining order is herself a looks maxer, so I don't know the motivation behind her making her video. Ultimately, these hiccups did very little to prevent Clav from gaining popularity, as the wider internet was becoming increasingly fascinated by his posts. And his hat. This newfound explosion through Instagram Reels and TikTok would lead to what many have called his generational run, where he basically just goes on a bunch of podcasts and talks about himself. The first one that I saw was when he did a stream with Nick Fuentes, where he talked about his planned double jaw surgery.
So the plan is the double jaw surgery.
Right.
And that brings it forward and makes it wider and bigger?
Forward and down.
And
so
down.
A downdraft, yeah.
Giga Chad.
To most people, it's clear that this is a totally unnecessary operation.
Yes.
But at this point, Clav has gone so far with his endeavors that he doesn't really see it as much of an issue.
No, I think he doesn't even see himself the way he actually looks like when he looks at himself in the mirror. It's like those people that keeps injecting because they get used to how they look and then they don't realize and then they become like those inflated looking like memes.
In another interview, this time with Jack Neal, he talks about his most recent addition to the stack.
I'm taking Accutane. I use crystal meth, so methamphetamine as a stimulant and to lean max, right? It's very suppressant of your appetite. It's a very long-acting stimulant. So this is something that I've started using in place of Adderall. I'm pretty much using meth for hollow cheeks.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at in terms of looks maxing.
While he goes on to defend his use by saying he takes a very low dose, there's honestly nothing
He doesn't even have hollow cheeks. It's a complete waste of time.
he could say to convince me that ordering the big blue off the internet to lean max and get hollow cheeks is a good idea. His surgical ambitions have also gone even farther, as he wants to get a type of surgery where both of your legs are broken and then slowly pulled apart while the body forms new bone in its place. With the idea being that once the surgery is complete, you'll be multiple inches taller. Keep in mind here, Clav is already 6'2", and he wants to be 6'6". He also expresses total confidence that he isn't insecure, and instead, all of his decisions are informed by pure logic and rationality. Right before he says he'll be getting the jaw surgery in Turkey for $35,000, and then says that the height surgery will cost
$35,000 for a surgery in Turkey, you're getting scammed, bro. Scammed.
Cost him $100,000. Now, despite how bizarre Clav is as a person, he actually does a decent job of presenting his worldview convincingly, and it's undeniable that he's pretty well spoken. While his appearance on stream with Nick Fuentes and the Jack Neal podcast were pretty popular, it was Fresh and Fit, a Red Pill podcast you may remember from when Andrew Tate was taking over the internet, that really blew the lid off, spawning a lot of edits of him on Instagram.
Yeah, please do. So her alar base, the width of her nose is incredibly large. Her nasal bridge is incredibly wide. You know, obviously you've got bimaxillary protrusion, so you know your bite is all off. Just everything is wrong.
That's fine.
Yeah. So just I would rate you the lowest, definitely on the panel.
Are you not a surgeon?
What's the number?
I would arguably say like 1.5 or 2, like genetic defect, dead end.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm actually writing this shit down.
But whatever value he offers as a content creator is constantly negated by the stuff he actually gets up to in his endeavors to looks max. As his popularity increased, so did his revolving door of drug use.
Why the HCG? So that my testicles aren't the size of a shriveled up raisin. I was kind of getting a little sick and tired of that. You know, it really has a wear and tear on your mental.
Jeez.
You're just you guys know, like a raisin in the sun?
Oh.
That was pretty much my nutsack, was a raisin in the sun.
This guy's life
Jesus.
is basically a never-ending revolving door of drugs that cause issues and are then supplemented by other drugs which then need their own solutions, and it goes on and on.
Yeah.
He took SARMs to improve his
Dude, his stomach lining must be all fucked up. His kidneys, how long is he gonna be able to keep this up? He won't be able to.
performance. Then he had to take testosterone because his body was no longer producing it naturally. Then his balls got small, so now he has to take the ball drug. But at the same time, his dick isn't working, so he has to take Cialis. As all of this is going on, he has really high anxiety, maybe related to his general temperament, maybe due to the drugs he's taking, so his solution is to drink and take baclofen. It's just never ending. There was a brief period in which Clav tried to act as if he had moved past his life of sleeping around and had gotten into a relationship, but it didn't last very long, and soon enough, he went back to jester maxing on TikTok for online attention from randoms, making videos about how to increase your IQ and the size of your meat, all while bragging about how easily he can get replies on looksmaxing.org, but doesn't care about it at all and has ascended past it. This is probably Clav approaching his least self-aware state, as he begins committing the most common internet guy mistake, engaging with your haters.
If you go look at, his Kiwi Farms entire post about him, you can see who he is.
If you put any person, any teenager, under the level of scrutiny that I've been put under, where I've got a forum full of people looking into every single thing that I've ever done, private police reports and stuff like that where I crashed my car, could you imagine if that was you? If you were exposed to that level of scrutiny, I guarantee most of you, the majority, would be in way deeper shit than me. So what did I really do? I crashed my car because I took too much baclofen? Oh, big fucking deal. Some envious I simply made a joke about. If you put any person, in my situation, any teenage male under the scrutiny of all these people on that forum, which is literally an illegal forum. It's illegal in the UK and a few other countries because of the shit that they do on there.
There's a lot that I can say about this video. First off, I think the years of using the "I'm just a teenager" defense on his parents made him do it on impulse here, despite the restraining order and the car crash happening after he was an adult. Secondly, I also really like how he's using Kiwi Farms being illegal, as he puts it here, as a gotcha, when the legality of his black market steroids, which he actively promotes and has promoted to kids, has never concerned him. To seal his fate for good, he announced that he was heading to the final destination for modern TikTok stars, Miami. There are very few fade stars.
I thought they were gonna say Dubai. Rima's size screen even so that she could agree about size maxing the schlong. No, dude, he injects stuff in it. It's wild. It's wild.
Than to see yourself become a Miami influencer with a rented Cybertruck.
Also, oh, it's a rented Cybertruck? Of course. It's so ugly, this truck. I don't understand people that drive in it. It looks like a bad version of the Batmobile.
It's like a biblical punishment. Despite his many claims to not care about what online incels had to say about him, he was clearly bothered about it, to the point where he made a video borderline crying while trying to defend his recent developments.
Because that's really important, is the why. Why are you doing these things? Why
Gurf Demon, thank you for your $1 donation.
With anabolics. Why are you, dumping, all this money that you have into peptides and nootropics and this and that and taking this risk and having this surgery planned? So that really needs to be explained and addressed, because I see a lot of craziness going around on the internet, right? It's like, wouldn't you rather just give something your all in life? Okay, so when people come on and they say, oh, Clav, you're insane for getting surgery, you're insane for doing these anabolics. Well, at least in 5 years, whether I am a Frank Tufano botch job or the next Giga Chad, at least I could say that I gave something my all. While you sit there and type your comment on my Instagram reel from your wage job, at least I tried. At least I dedicated myself to the craft and was willing to do whatever it takes, right? So I really want to make this video before I go ahead and get this double jaw surgery, just to say that you guys have never done something hard in your entire life. You've never actually put in a second's effort. Now, I know I'm not the best looking guy, and sure, there's all these looks maxers that look a lot better than me, but what did they actually do? What did they actually accomplish?
I like that, like his ideal is other looks maxers. It's not even, it's not models, it's not celebrities, it's other look maxers. That's his entire world. His entire world is so narrow.
Because while you were out doing random bullshit in high school, I was sitting there on my computer dedicating myself, researching the best way to maximize myself. So it's not craziness. It is not anything other than obsession and dedication.
There's a few things to pick apart here. He opens by saying, hey, why are you dumping all of this money that you have, when that's only half true? If you go back far enough, he was using the money his parents gave him to get hormones. And even recently, he was taking out loans and admitted to being in tons of debt to get his looks maxing procedures. Then there's this false dichotomy he paints where if you don't think what he's doing is good or smart, then you must be an embittered wagey, envious of his ascension. Clav simply can't fathom that his critics have a legitimate point, rationalizing that they must be poor and mentally ill. Keep in mind, he's saying all of this through gritted teeth and watery eyes. Lastly, I like how his idea of putting a lot of effort in is being on the computer looking up ways to enlarge your penis when you're 16 years old, and then injecting your shaft with lemon juice. Now, some people may say,
oh, but that's just what he used to do as a silly kid trying to looks max online.
But as I've already gone over, if you look for more current examples of him supposedly taking risks to make the most out of himself, you immediately stumble onto him once again admitting to being on meth.
Usually when I build stuff, I'm always so stemmed out on, like, you know, an amphetamine with a methyl group. You guys know what I'm talking about?
In reference to another video where he fails to rizz up some girl, he posted, "I was high on meth. That bitch is definitely subhuman." Soon after, in another clip, like the one in his car where he's desperately attempting to get himself taken seriously by his audience, he says this.
I am not a character. This is not some TV show, right? Where I'm coming on here trying to entertain you, mother. This is the cruel, hard world. We live in one of the worst societies ever throughout the entire history of the world. Quite literally. You have to be in the top percentile to even be looked at with a shred of romance, with a shred of attraction by women in this day of age. Do you think that I'm doing this shit as a
That's sad. It's really sad and blackmailing.
form of entertainment when I have to stay up for 3 days in a row, high on crystal meth, right? Trying to suppress my appetite and get hollow cheeks, right? Is that supposed to entertain you? The fact that I even can't...
Are you not entertained? Yeah, this is just sad now. It really is. The fact that he feels that he needs to look that good, and he still feels like he hasn't achieved what he wants to achieve, and that he's gonna keep going just to be looked at, just to be accepted by other people is it's really sad. It's really sad, and I hope that people don't actually believe that you need that to be loved by somebody.
even talk to people without some sort of, version of benzos. I need prazolam just to be able to have a conversation like a normal person. Is that supposed to be entertaining to you? Okay, right? So this shit is, hell for me.
You do really gotta love the irony of someone talking about how evil and terrible the modern world is while making tens of thousands of dollars a month by basically sitting on his ass, live streaming once in a while, and then ordering drugs off the internet so he can destroy his brain. The rest of the video just has a lot of him malding about how evil women only give attention to you if you get plastic surgery, and he tries to, quote, appeal to people with neurodivergence, as if the stuff he's peddling at all would help other autistic people online. I'm sure that on some level he's aware of how silly he sounds when he takes himself so seriously, especially when the rest of his content is him doing literal makeup tutorials and recommending that all men take Cialis.
I mean, at this point, like the makeup tutorial, yeah, just do that. Like that's the least harmful thing. If you could use makeup if you're a guy, I don't give a shit about that. That's fine. The drug use is insane. The shit he's on, the cycle, the self-harm.
He rapidly alternates between posts like this and posts like this.
Would Charlie Kirk have gotten assassinated if he were Chad? Well, probably not, and here's why.
Well, he was definitely trying extra hard to put on a performance. According to people who actually met him in real life, not much was different. In a Reddit thread about a stream clip of his where he showed off his penis pump, one user wrote, "My cousin is good friends with him in real life. He says Clav is probably the most insecure human he's ever come across. According to him, he's constantly going manic by trying all sorts of looks-maxing techniques. He only talks about anabolic steroids and plastic surgery. He also will have a meltdown."
I mean, you don't need to have met him or to know him IRL to know that he's insecure. If you base your self-worth on how other people look at you, then you're insecure by default.
If he sees the slightest imperfection, and will ruin everyone's plans by refusing to leave the house because he's ugly, like a middle school girl.
Wow.
Recently, he's been doing way too much melanotan too and looks terrible. Guy is mentally ill and needs psychiatric care. While this post is anonymous and could be complete bull, it sounds sounds pretty accurate. Fortunately for Clav, he was finally moving past the need for validation
Oh,
from
not
his
this
fellow
dude.
looks-maxing cells, as he was now attempting to ingratiate himself with streamers. Once again, the backfire was almost instantaneous, as this clip of Aiden Ross talking about him came out.
Bro, he's befriending all the most annoying people.
Ever seen someone snort meth ever in real life?
Wow.
I literally witnessed Clav snort meth. Literally. Witnessed it. And I didn't know how to feel. I did not know how to feel.
Bro, Aiden Ross... Bro, he makes Aiden Ross look normal. He makes Aiden Ross look normal. Even he's shocked.
I've never seen that ever.
Aiden was just one of the many stops on his clout train. Next up was Jack Doherty, and then Sneeko, both of whom he streamed with. Besides his career developments, there were also some new things in his personal life. He had found himself another girlfriend, who happened to be 17 years old, which a lot of people took issue with, although
She's 17. She does not look 17, guys. That's what I've been telling you at the beginning of the video. They don't look like teens anymore.
I want to say here definitively that given he is only 19 himself, dating a 17-year-old is not really something to be concerned with. The more concerning part is him
Oh, he's still 19? He's still that young?
injecting fat-dissolving peptides into her face on livestream.
Wow.
Going back to the LooksMax forum, it's worth noting that he's mentioned his sister, who is just 13 years old by the way, multiple times. Over a couple of different posts, he wrote this: "Imagine your sister, who has the same DNA and genes as you, will never have to work a day in her life, will never understand hardship, will have every one of her desires fulfilled by cuckold men. Truly unreal. My sister is probably 0.5 PSL higher than me, which is a good amount but not otherworldly, and her quality of life will be inestimably better simply because of a simple difference in chromosomes. Truly unreal how genetics and sexual market value works. So Jover for me, man. My sister is a chronic mouth breather, mostly during sleep, but I already see early signs of recession and bad development. She's a foid, so she will have unlimited sexual market value.
What's a foid?
Regardless, but do I save her from descending, or does it not benefit me? The theory is that her marrying a rich Saudi prince or some shit like that will benefit me and allow me to exploit money from her. Again, almost everything Odd said here could be swept away as a joke, but it is very strange.
Oh, it's female? Yeah, why would you talk about your 13-year-old sister like that, bro? And why does he think she won't work a job? I started working when I was 16. Apparently kids these days, they don't work till they're very old, which I also find odd. I mean, their little hands could be put to so much good use, you know? Their little nimble fingers. They could work machinery, very fine tuning. You know, we need people for all these PC parts. The RAMs are getting very expensive. We could send them there. No, I'm joking.
To talk about your sibling like that to strangers.
They yearn
online.
for the
Regardless, Clav was fully cementing his reputation by audibly snorting something that is presumably coke while on stream.
What?
Oh, buddy. Dude.
I think he realized how bad this looked, so right after, he made an attempt at expressing regret over his drug usage, calling it the worst day of his life.
You need that stuff if you want to do this consistently, but I don't, bro. I want to get off the packet. I am. It's been 12. We've been off for 12 hours, bro.
Bye. Yeah.
The worst day of my life, bro.
But given that he continued to hang out with the same exact people afterwards, and a clip came out of them talking.
He says that with like such a poker face. And they're hanging out with, I don't know, like these girls are just looking at themselves in the camera while dancing.
About how they got their stuff from the same guy who supplied it to the actual Wolf of Wall Street. I doubt he stayed off of it for very long. For someone who takes so much pride in not living a normie life, he's doing
What? Is that a photo that is he censored because there's drugs on the table?
exactly the same thing as a gaggle of other clout-chasing streamers, with the only difference being that he's convinced himself.
Ew! Why are all these people popular?
That his motives are somehow unique. Ultimately, regardless of the merit some specific looks-maxing philosophies may or may not have, I don't really need to go out on a limb to say that being on drugs all the time and doing steroids without lifting is just not the way to go. No amount of being funny online changes the fact that Clav could have had a much happier, fulfilled life, and instead he's wasting the prime of it and a huge amount of money on plastic surgeries and drugs. With that being said, I don't think he's an evil person, and despite him having advised other people to follow his footsteps as if he were a role model, I don't think he's intentionally misleading anybody. Based on everything I've seen so far, he genuinely believes that he is making the best decisions.
No, he really believes it. He really believes it.
Just that those decisions are incredibly stupid. It's worth saying that throughout everything, even Clav himself admits that ultimately, a lot of what he's doing will probably have some very negative effects on his life.
So you don't care about maximizing your lifespan as much as your day-to-day?
Yeah, I'm not a huge longevity guy.
And I think his popularity is reflective of some broader issues as well. Clav himself has stated that he grew up as a socially awkward person. He avoided speaking to anyone in class. Instead of spending his time with friends, he went on an obscure forum for improving his looks. When realistically, his looks were already fine. He doesn't need to get height surgery to go from 6'2" to 6'6". He doesn't need to get his jaw broken and spend 6 months healing to be better looking. And frankly, his physique is not good enough for someone who has been taking steroids since before he was old enough to drive. There's this idea that I've seen in comment sections everywhere. How ironic is it that he only blew up after he ascended? To me, the truth is that he only blew up now that he's 19 years old, has been kicked out of college, and has the time to actually make content. A lot of the people claiming he's ascended will show before and after pictures, but the before is when he was like 13 years old. Are we really that surprised that someone's appearance changed for the better from before when they were in high school to when they're supposed to be college age? Is that really shocking to anyone? And frankly, there are plenty of good-looking people on the internet who are 19 years old. This is not a unique thing. Clav got popular for 3 reasons. One is that he's pretty funny. The second reason is the extreme measures he's taking, which is shocking to anyone who hears about it and they feel like they need to hear more. And
it's like the internet needs to be more and more extreme all the time. I think there was this YouTuber that, I don't know, gave... Fuck, I gotta find that post again. But it's literally so dystopian. Like, they're giving these things to hobos. They're giving them challenges, risky stuff, just to get some content. And it's scary how it's developing at such a rapid rate. Bringing AI, bots on top of that, misinformation. It's terrifying. I mean, my work is in the internet, but I genuinely, like, truly, I'd be glad if we just deleted computers and internet from our lives. I'd find something else to do.
Third reason is that there are a lot of other socially awkward kids out there who believe that Clav is offering them a way out. If you listen to him, all you need to do is take 32 different drugs.
No, like, people look at the before and after image. They're young. I've seen those people in my comment section. They're young, they're black-pilled. It's like the same kind of comments that Shuan Head was reading in her video. Like, they're like 16-year-old, they think their life is over, no girl wants to look at them, they can't find a job, or they have no job, and they have no money. It's like, bro, you're 16, of course you have no money, nobody has money at that age. And then they see this, and they're like, oh my god, this is my way out, this is how I get people to look at me. And it's so hurtful.
You order off the internet, and then your life will be complete. But the reality is that, much like Clav's Botox-filled face, his audience will probably be just as fleeting. As the novelty of watching someone talk about penis pumps and taking meth to lean max fades away, he's either going to need to hard pivot into actually talking about something that matters, or he's gonna fade into irrelevance like the rest of the Red Pill guys did once their audience has realized how full of shit they were. Anyhow, I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time...
You are gay! The sooner you realize that, the better!
Who is that? Jesus. Yeah, really good video from Turkey Tom, though. That was great. Yeah, they want something immediate instead of something that takes time. There's no shortcuts in life. That's what I realized. You know, try to do the slop thing, uploaded slop thing doesn't work. Nobody cares because you're not putting efforts in it. You try to take shortcuts to lose weight, you're gonna get it back. I used to buy lottery tickets because I was like super broke. And you know, you hope that one day you win the lottery and you're like, I'll never have to work again. And you know what? You never win the lottery. You never do. All you do is spend and sink money in it. There's really no shortcuts in life except roll up your sleeves and get to work. You know what? Life is unfair, is what I realize. There's no fairness. Other people get better stuff sometimes, and sometimes you got the shit deal. You got the shit end of the deal. But you know what's cringe? It's overplaying a weak hand. And once you open your eyes to that reality, which is a sad and boring reality, then you get to see what's your actual play field. And then you get to see what is your actual hand. And then you get to make the decisions that will actually make you move forward. You don't live in this fantasy. You don't live in delusions. You just live your life. And yeah, it's way less boring than fiction. You're not in a movie. It's way less boring than the internet makes it out to be. But hey, at least it's real. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And I'll see you in the next video.